Carol Danvers was introduced to us back in 1968 in Marvel Superheroes number 13, and throughout the years she's risen in the ranks to become one of the most powerful superpowered individuals in the Marvel Universe, which is pretty impressive considering who she's rubbing shoulders with. Now, with the Captain Marvel film set to hit theaters in the upcoming year, it's probably about time that you acquainted yourself with this badass character. And note that while we're specifically talking about Carol Danvers, we will be briefly touching on the legacy of Captain Marvels over the years. So that being said, we're diving into some of the most interesting things that you need to know about the character with our list of the top 10 Captain Marvel surprising facts. And at number 10, the alias. Aside from Danvers, the title of Captain Marvel has belonged to 6 others. The first, Mar-Vell, was an alien military officer that Carol actually encountered and aided. He's the reason why she got her powers as Miss Marvel, but more on that later. Mar-Vell would die of cancer due to the exposure of toxic nerve gas from a battle he had with Nitro. The 5 Captain Marvels that would follow all played an important role in the Captain Marvel legacy, but none have been as influential as Mar-Vell and Danvers. And at number 9, Miss Marvel. Speaking of titles, let's take a look at the mantle Carol wore before becoming Captain Marvel. Miss Marvel. In 1977, writer Jerry Conway gave Carol the title, with the goal of creating a socially progressive comic. The use of the word Miss was meant to reflect that. It was associated largely with the feminist movement, and it was used to represent that she was an independent woman, which included some storylines like her fighting for equal pay for equal work, although that costume was arguably not the most progressive thing. And at number 8, publishing rivalry. There's been a lot of publishing controversies over the years concerning the name Captain Marvel. So back in the Golden Age, a character named Captain Marvel was published by Fawcett Comics. DC sued them for the character being too similar to their Superman. That character would then be later bought and renamed as Shazam by DC years later. Fawcett died out in 1953, and that opened up the door for Marvel, who prior to had been operating under the name Timely Comics. They ended up buying the trademark for the name Captain Marvel. Now, in order to keep this trademark intact, Marvel had to publish a Captain Marvel title at least once every 2 years, which led to various ongoing and limited series and one-shots. And at number 7, US Air Force. When we first meet Danvers, she actually didn't have superpowers. She was an officer in the US Air Force and security chief of a restricted military base. There she met the human alias of Kree alien hero Mar-Vell, aka Captain Marvel. She had joined the military at age 18 in order to pay for college after her father refused to send her to school. Her powers would then arise in 1977 when she got her own self-title as Miss Marvel. Those powers would come from energy exposure after a device called the Psyche Magnetron exploded and melded her genetic structure with Captain Marvel's. In terms of her military career, her backstory details have been filled in over the years. She would rise in the ranks, become part of the Air Force intelligence, and get a position at NASA as head of security, which led to her resignation from the Air Force, with her retiring as a colonel. It was later retconned that her job at NASA is how she actually encountered Mar-Vell. And at 6, different origins. Speaking of Carol's origins, the MCU film that stars Brie Larson as the title character, set to be released in 2019, is completely tossing out her origin story. The decision to do this was based off the need to differentiate the character from DC's Green Lantern, and Hal Jordan's origin. In a podcast, co-writer Nicole Perlman stated, "Her origin is very similar to Green Lantern, and obviously that's not what we want to do. Also, she's her own person and she's a great character. We have to be aware of what's happened in other Marvel films and make sure that her particular storyline is unique and fun and also fits within this world that's going on at the same time." And at number 5, Infinity War film. Now, if the Captain Marvel film has you hyped, you'll be excited to know that there's a chance that Captain Marvel may appear on the big screen before her self-titled movie. During an event at the Smithsonian Institute, Avengers Infinity War directors Anthony and Joe Russo let it slip that Captain Marvel will be making a cameo in the film. When everyone in the crowd started freaking out, they backpedaled, saying, Captain Marvel, totally different character. Yeah, that sounds like a confirmation to me. And at 4, superhero groups. Carol has been a member of a lot of superhero groups. While the Avengers may be the first that comes to mind, she's also been in the Defenders, the Mighty Avengers, the New Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy, the X-Men, and a group of space pirates called the Starjammers. Her run with the latter two was particularly interesting. She had briefly been depowered, but then gained new powers and became the mutant binary, and operated as such in those groups. But hey, I guess that just means she's really versatile, and that's pretty cool. Up next at 3, Civil War. While she didn't partake in the MCU Civil War, in the comics Captain Marvel had sided with Iron Man in Marvel Civil War, on the side of pro-registration. But her allegiance changed for Civil Civil War II. The Civil War II story arc functions as an allegory of free will versus determinism, with the core of its conflict being over an inhuman named Ulysses Kane, who can predict the future. Captain Marvel is of the belief that his powers should be used to prevent threats from occurring, while Iron Man thinks that that gives superheroes too much power. In the war, the two led opposing factions. Also, fun fact, this series was released in 2016, a move that Marvel made in order to capitalize on the MCU film Captain America's Civil War. And at number 2, Marcus. So, like most superheroes, Carol Danvers has had her fair share of weird crap happen to her over the years, but perhaps the weirdest was her encounter with a character named Marcus, who was the apparent son of Avengers enemy Immortus. In the Avengers number 200 back in 1980, there's a storyline in which Miss Marvel is kidnapped and taken to an alternate dimension in which she is brainwashed and impregnated, and also apparently seduced. Shortly after, she gives birth to a child on Earth who rapidly grows into another version of Marcus. Essentially, he impregnated her in order to be born again into a physical, tangible form. Yeah, super weird. Comic book historian Carol A. Strickland called it what it was in an essay titled The Rape of Miss Marvel, in which one of Marcus's lines in the comic are cited as evidence. He says, I quote, "Finally, after relative weeks of such efforts, and admittedly with a subtle boost from Immortus's machines, you became mine." Chris Claremont, who had previously written Miss Marvel, also criticized it, calling it an inappropriate storyline. He would go on to undo the damage in 1981's Avengers Annual number 10, when Rogue absorbed Danvers' powers and memories. Danvers then gives the Avengers hell for their failure to realize that Marcus had brainwashed her. They had let her go back with Marcus, assuming they were in love. And finally, in at number 1, outranks Captain America. Perhaps the most surprising fact to those unfamiliar with Danvers or her association with other Marvel superheroes is that she actually outranks Captain America. We were reminded of this back in Kelly Sue DeConnick's run of the character's solo title in 2012, when she assumed the role of Captain Marvel. Danvers states this with, I quote, "This broad left the service a full bird colonel, so technically I outrank him," referring to Captain America. After this, there's some banter between Cap and Carol, in which Cap says, "I've been trying to get you demoted for years," to which she replies, "Don't I know it." Carol retired as a USAF colonel, and colonels outrank captains, despite now having the title Captain Marvel as her superhero rank. Alright, there we have it, friends. Are you guys excited for the upcoming Captain Marvel film? Are you happy with the casting choice of Brie Larson? Let us know all of your thoughts and feels in those comments below. As always, if you dug this video, please spread the love by hitting that like button, and share the video with a friend. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. We have a ton of other great superhero videos that you'll love, like the ones in our top 10 superheroes playlist flashing on your screen right now. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I've been Kelly Pally, and this has been Top 10 Nerd. Catch you all in the next one.